Have you ever felt like your body is constantly fighting against you? Do you wake up tired, struggle through the day, and wonder why healing seems so difficult? What if I told you that just 10 minutes a day could unlock your body's natural ability to repair itself? It might sound too simple to be true, but sometimes the most powerful solutions are the ones we overlook because of their simplicity. Today, we're going to explore an ancient practice rooted in Zen wisdom that has the potential to transform your health from the inside out. This isn't about expensive treatments, complicated routines, or drastic lifestyle changes. It's about dedicating just 10 minutes of your day to something so profound that your body will begin to heal itself naturally. This journey we're about to take together combines timeless Zen teachings with practical steps you can implement immediately. Think about it. We spend hours scrolling through our phones, rushing from one task to another, and filling every moment with noise and distraction. But what if those 10 minutes you invest in yourself could become the most valuable part of your entire day? What if this small commitment could reduce your stress, improve your sleep, boost your immune system, and help your body function the way it was designed to? The beautiful thing about Zen wisdom is that it doesn't ask you to believe anything blindly. It invites you to experience it for yourself. The practice we'll discuss today has been used for centuries by Zen masters and ordinary people alike to achieve extraordinary health and inner peace. And the best part, you don't need any special equipment, you don't need to travel anywhere, and you don't need to be an expert. You just need to be willing to give yourself these 10 minutes. As we move through this video, I'll share with you a powerful Zen story that illustrates exactly how this practice works and why it's so effective. This story has been passed down through generations, and it contains insights that modern science is only now beginning to validate. We'll break down the exact steps you need to follow, explain what's happening in your body during these 10 minutes, and show you how to make this practice a natural part of your daily routine. But here's what's important. This video contains information that could genuinely change your life, but only if you watch it all the way through. Each piece of wisdom builds upon the last, creating a complete understanding of how your body's natural healing mechanisms work and how to activate them. If you leave early, you'll miss crucial details that make all the difference between trying something once and experiencing real, lasting transformation. We encourage you to stay with us until the very end, because the insights we share in the latter part of this video tie everything together in ways you won't expect. If you find value in what we're sharing today, please show your support by clicking the like button. It helps us reach more people who are searching for natural ways to improve their health and well-being. And don't forget to subscribe to our Wisdom in Real Life channel so you never miss out on content that can help you live a healthier, happier, more balanced life. By subscribing, you're not just getting videos, you're joining a community of people who believe in the power of ancient wisdom to solve modern problems. You're connecting with others who understand that sometimes the best medicine doesn't come from a bottle, but from reconnecting with practices that have sustained humanity for thousands of years. So are you ready to discover what these 10 minutes can do for you? Are you prepared to learn a practice so simple, yet so powerful, that it might just become the cornerstone of your daily routine? Let's begin this journey together, and let me share with you the Zen story that reveals the secret to activating your body's natural healing abilities. Trust me, what you're about to learn could be exactly what you've been searching for. The seeking student. Let me tell you about Yuki, a person just like you and me. Yuki was in her mid-30s, working a demanding job that required long hours in front of a computer screen. Every morning, she woke up with a stiff neck and aching shoulders. Her energy levels were constantly low, and no matter how much coffee she drank, the fatigue never seemed to lift. Headaches had become her unwelcome companion, and sleep, which should have been restorative, left her feeling even more exhausted. Sound familiar? Yuki had tried everything the modern world offered. She took supplements, visited multiple doctors, tried different diets, and even invested in an expensive ergonomic chair. Some things helped temporarily, but nothing addressed the root of her problems. Her body felt like it was breaking down, and she was only getting older. The thought of living the rest of her life this way filled her with quiet desperation. One evening, after another exhausting day, Yuki stumbled upon an old article about natural healing practices. It mentioned a Zen master named Kenji who lived in a small mountain village, someone who had helped countless people restore their health through simple, ancient practices. At first, Yuki was skeptical. She had heard promises before, quick fixes that never delivered. How could something simple succeed where modern medicine and expensive treatments had failed? But desperation has a way of opening closed minds. Yuki decided to make the journey. After all, what did she have to lose? The path to Master Kenji's dwelling was not easy. It required taking time off work, traveling to a remote location, and stepping completely out of her comfort zone. As she climbed the mountain path, her body protested with every step. Her knees ached, her breathing was labored, and she questioned whether this entire trip was foolish. When she finally reached the master's simple dwelling, she was sweating and exhausted. Master Kenji was an elderly man with a serene presence, tending to a small garden. He looked up at Yuki with eyes that seemed to see right through her, not in a judgmental way, but with deep understanding. Yuki explained her situation, listing all her symptoms, all the treatments she had tried, and all the failures she had experienced. She expected the master to prescribe some complex routine or special herbs. Instead, Master Kenji smiled gently and said something that frustrated Yuki at first. "You are trying too hard to fix what is not broken." Yuki felt her frustration rising. Not broken, her body felt completely broken. She had traveled all this way for cryptic statements, but something in the master's calm demeanor made her pause. He invited her to sit, offered her tea, and said, "Before I teach you anything, you must understand something important. Your body is not your enemy. It is the wisest teacher you will ever have." Those words hung in the air, and for the first time in years, Yuki felt a small spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, there was something here worth learning. The Zen teaching begins. Master Kenji led Yuki to a quiet spot overlooking the valley below. The air was fresh, and for a moment, Yuki forgot about her aches and pains. The master began to speak, his voice calm and measured. "Tell me, Yuki, when you cut your finger, do you have to teach your body how to heal the wound?" Yuki thought about it and shook her head. "No, it just heals on its own." The master nodded. "Exactly. Your body already knows how to heal itself. It has been doing so since the day you were born. Every cell in your body is designed for repair and renewal." This simple observation struck Yuki deeply. She had never thought about it that way. Her body had healed countless cuts, bruises, and illnesses throughout her life without her conscious effort. So why did she feel so broken now? Master Kenji seemed to read her thoughts. "The problem is not that your body has forgotten how to heal. The problem is that we keep interfering with its natural ability to do so. We pile on stress, irregular sleep, constant mental noise and tension. We are like gardeners who plant a seed and then dig it up every day to check if it's growing." He explained that in the modern world, we have become disconnected from our body's natural rhythms. We override our need for rest with caffeine. We ignore signals of hunger and fullness. We sit for hours in unnatural positions. We breathe shallowly because we're always anxious or rushed. "Your body is constantly trying to communicate with you," the master continued, "but you have learned to ignore its voice. You treat symptoms instead of listening to causes." Yuki felt a wave of recognition wash over her. This was exactly what she had been doing, chasing one symptom after another, never pausing to understand what her body was actually trying to tell her. "So what's the solution?" she asked, expecting a long list of things to do. Master Kenji smiled. "The solution is not to add more. The solution is to remove the obstacles that prevent your body from doing what it naturally does best." He used a beautiful metaphor that Yuki would never forget. Imagine a river flowing naturally. When rocks and debris accumulate, the water cannot flow freely. It becomes stagnant, blocked. Do you fix this by adding more water? No. You remove the obstacles, and the river flows naturally again. Your body is like this river. We don't need to force healing. We need to remove what blocks it. This philosophy was completely different from everything Yuki had learned. Modern life had taught her that more is better, more treatments, more supplements, more interventions, but Master Kenji was suggesting the opposite. Less interference, more trust in the body's innate wisdom. "What I am about to teach you," the master said, "takes only 10 minutes a day, but in those 10 minutes you will remove the obstacles. You will allow your body to remember what it has always known how to do." Yuki leaned forward, ready to learn. For the first time in years, she felt genuinely hopeful. The 10-minute practice revealed. Master Kenji stood up and invited Yuki to join him in an open space near his garden. "What I'm about to show you requires nothing but yourself. No equipment, no special clothing, no expense. just you and 10 minutes of honest presence. He gestured for Yuki to stand comfortably, feet shoulder-width apart, in a relaxed position. We begin with the breath, the master said softly. Not special breathing, not forced breathing, just conscious breathing. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Now, simply notice where your breath goes naturally. Yuki did as instructed. She realized her breathing was shallow, barely reaching past her chest. This is how most people breathe in modern life, Master Kenji observed. Shallow, rapid, as if always preparing to run from danger. But your body interprets this as stress, even when there's no real threat. He demonstrated a simple technique, breathing in slowly through the nose for a count of 4, allowing the belly to expand first, then the chest. Hold gently for a count of 2, then exhale slowly through the mouth for a count of 6, feeling the belly draw inward. This is not forced, he emphasized. It's natural. Watch a baby sleep, this is how they breathe. We're simply returning to what your body already knows. For the first 2 minutes of the practice, this conscious breathing would be the only focus. Next, the master continued, we practice body scanning. This is how you reconnect with your body's voice. He explained that while keeping the gentle breathing rhythm, Yuki would mentally scan through her body from head to toe. Start at the crown of your head. Don't judge, don't try to fix anything, simply notice. Is there tension, warmth, coolness, tingling? Move your attention slowly down forehead, eyes, jaw, neck, shoulders. Master Kenji explained that most people carry enormous tension without even realizing it. Your jaw might be clenched, your shoulders might be raised toward your ears, your fists might be tight. These are obstacles, debris in the river. By simply noticing them with kind awareness, without trying to force them to relax, they often release naturally. This scanning process would take about 3 minutes, moving all the way down to the toes. The third component involved gentle movement. Your body was designed to move, the master said, beginning to demonstrate slow, fluid stretches. But not aggressive exercise right now. This is about awakening, not exhausting. He showed Yuki simple movements, slowly rolling the shoulders backward, gently turning the head from side to side, reaching arms overhead and stretching to each side, doing gentle twists from the waist and rolling through the ankles. Each movement is synchronized with your breath. Inhale as you expand, exhale as you contract or twist. Let your body tell you what it needs. These movements weren't about flexibility or achievement. They were about creating space in the body, allowing blood and energy to flow to areas that had been constricted. Modern life keeps us frozen in position sitting, hunching over screens, tensing our muscles, Master Kenji explained. 3 minutes of mindful movement helps clear those blockages. He emphasized that if something hurt, you should ease back. This wasn't about pushing through pain, but about gentle exploration. The final 2 minutes were dedicated to what Master Kenji called mindful awareness. Sitting or standing comfortably with eyes closed or softly focused downward, Yuki would simply rest in present awareness, not thinking about your to-do list, not planning dinner, not replaying yesterday's conversation, just being here, now. If thoughts command, will you simply notice them like clouds passing in the sky and return your attention to your breath or the sensations in your body. Now here's where the practice becomes truly powerful. Master Kenji explained the science in simple terms that anyone could understand. When you breathe deeply and consciously, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and repair mode. Most people spend their entire day in fight or flight mode, which shuts down healing processes. These 10 minutes are like flipping a switch that tells your body it's safe to heal. The body scanning creates what scientists call interoceptive awareness, the ability to sense what's happening inside your body. When you can feel tension, pain, or discomfort without judgment, your nervous system can finally address it, the master explained. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, your body can see what needs attention. Research has shown that this kind of awareness reduces inflammation, lowers blood pressure, and improves immune function. The gentle movements stimulate circulation and lymphatic drainage. Your lymphatic system, your body's cleaning system, doesn't have a pump like your heart. It relies on movement. Even gentle stretching helps clear toxins and deliver nutrients to cells, Master Kenji said. Combined with deep breathing, this creates optimal conditions for cellular repair. But Yuki was already feeling resistant. "Master, this seems too simple. I have serious health problems. How can 10 minutes of breathing and stretching fix chronic pain and fatigue?" Her skepticism was written clearly on her face. This was exactly the reaction the master expected. Your mind wants complexity because it believes suffering requires complicated solutions. But tell me, how long did it take for your problems to develop? Months? Years? They developed gradually through thousands of small actions: poor breathing, chronic tension, stress, disconnect from your body. He looked at her kindly. Healing happens the same way, not through one dramatic intervention, but through consistent small actions that remove obstacles. These 10 minutes create a pocket of time where your body remembers its natural state. At first, it's like whispering to someone in a noisy room, hard to hear. But if you whisper consistently, every day, eventually the noise quiets and the message gets through. Master Kenji assured Yuki that she didn't need to believe it would work. Just commit to 10 days. 10 minutes each day for 10 days. Your body will show you the truth better than my words ever could. He suggested practicing first thing in the morning, before the day's demands took over, or in the evening to release accumulated tension. The key was consistency and genuine presence during those 10 minutes, not perfection. Before you continue watching, if you're finding value in this story and want to learn more practices like this that can transform your health naturally, subscribe to our channel. We share wisdom that actually works for real life, not just theory. The first week, struggle, doubt. Yuki returned home with Master Kenji's instructions written down, though the practice was simple enough to remember. She decided to start the very next morning. She set her alarm 10 minutes earlier than usual, rolled out of bed, and stood in her living room feeling slightly ridiculous. The silence of the early morning felt uncomfortable. Her mind immediately began offering excuses. You could use these 10 minutes to check emails. You have so much to do today. This is a waste of time. But she had made a commitment. Day 1 began. As Yuki started the conscious breathing, she was shocked by how difficult it was to simply breathe slowly and notice her breath. Her mind wandered constantly to her work presentation, to an argument she'd had last week, to what she needed to buy at the grocery store. Every few seconds, she'd realized she'd forgotten to pay attention to her breathing entirely. The body scan was even harder. When she tried to notice sensations in her neck and shoulders, all she felt was intense discomfort and an overwhelming urge to move, to do something, to fix it. The gentle movements felt awkward and unnatural. Her body was so stiff that even simple stretches revealed how disconnected she'd become from her physical self. And those final 2 minutes of mindful awareness, they felt like an eternity. Her legs wanted to move, her fingers wanted to fidget, and her mind raced like a wild horse. When the 10 minutes finally ended, Yuki felt frustrated and disappointed. This wasn't peaceful or healing, it was just uncomfortable. Day 2 wasn't much better. Yuki almost talked herself out of practicing altogether. Her body ached from yesterday's movements, not injury, but the soreness that comes from using muscles that have been dormant. Her mind rebelled even more strongly. Psychologists call this monkey mind, the restless, unsettled quality of consciousness that jumps from thought to thought like a monkey swinging between trees. Yuki's monkey mind was particularly loud. "See, this isn't working. You feel worse, not better. Master Kenji doesn't understand modern health problems. This is ancient nonsense." But something small kept her going, maybe stubbornness, maybe that tiny spark of hope from the mountain. She practiced again, and this time she noticed something interesting. For just a few seconds during the body scan, when she focused on her hands, she actually felt warmth and tingling. It was brief and subtle, but it was real. It was the first time in months she'd felt any sensation in her body that wasn't pain or discomfort. Day 3 brought a new challenge, temptation to modify the practice. Yuki's mind suggested making it more complicated. Maybe she should add more movements, extend it to 20 minutes, look up additional techniques online. This, Master Kenji had warned her about. The mind doesn't trust simplicity. It will try to convince you that you need to do more. Resist this. Trust the practice exactly as given. So Yuki stuck with the simple 10 minutes, even though her mind kept insisting she should be doing more. By day 4, something unexpected happened. Yuki woke up naturally a few minutes before her alarm. Her body, anticipating the practice, and during the conscious breathing, she managed to stay focused for nearly a full minute without her mind wandering. It doesn't sound like much, but compared to the chaos of the first 3 days, it felt like a victory. She also noticed that after the practice, her usual morning neck pain was slightly less intense. She almost dismissed it as coincidence, but decided to simply observe without judgment, as the master had taught. Days 5 and 6 were a roller coaster. One morning the practice felt easier and almost pleasant. The next morning it felt like climbing a mountain again. Yuki learned something important. Progress isn't linear. Some days would feel like breakthroughs, others like setbacks. The key was showing up regardless of how it felt. She remembered Master Kenji's words. You're not trying to feel a certain way. You're simply creating the conditions for healing, whether you feel it happening or not. By day 7, Yuki noticed something remarkable during her workday. She was sitting at her computer, deeply focused, when she suddenly became aware that her shoulders were tensed up near her ears. In the past, she would have remained unconscious of this until it became painful. But now, thanks to the daily body scanning practice, she noticed it early. Without forcing anything, she took a few conscious breaths, and her shoulders naturally released. This was the body scanning working in real life, not just during the practice. She also noticed she was sleeping slightly better. Not dramatically. She wasn't suddenly sleeping through the night, but she was falling asleep a bit faster and waking up feeling marginally more rested. Her digestion, which had been problematic for years, seemed a tiny bit more regular. These weren't miraculous transformations, but they were real changes, subtle shifts that indicated something was working beneath the surface. Still, doubt crept in. A colleague at work recommended a new supplement that promised energy and vitality. Yuki was tempted. 10 minutes of breathing seemed so passive compared to taking action with a product that guaranteed results. But she remembered the river metaphor: remove obstacles rather than add more. She decided to complete the 10 days before making any other changes. She wanted to give this simple practice a fair chance. If you're watching from anywhere in the world, and you've ever struggled with giving simple practices a real chance, comment below and let us know where you're watching from. Sometimes knowing we're not alone in this struggle makes all the difference. As the first week closed, Yuki felt cautiously optimistic. She wasn't healed, but something was shifting. Her body felt slightly more like a friend and less like an enemy, and that, Master Kenji had said, was where all true healing begins. The transformation begins. As Yuki entered her second week of practice, something fundamental began to shift. It wasn't dramatic or sudden, but it was undeniable. On day 9, she woke up naturally before her alarm and realized something remarkable: she had slept through the entire night for the first time in over a year. No waking at 3 a.m. with racing thoughts, no tossing and turning, just deep, restorative sleep. She lay there for a moment, almost afraid to move, wondering if this was just a fluke. But it wasn't. Over the next few days, her sleep continued to improve. She was falling asleep within minutes of lying down instead of the usual hour of mental churning. She was dreaming again, vivid, memorable dreams that indicated she was reaching deeper sleep stages. And most importantly, she was waking up feeling actually rested, not just less exhausted. Her body was finally getting the repair time it desperately needed. The chronic tension in her neck and shoulders, her constant companions for years, began to ease. It wasn't that the pain disappeared overnight, but its intensity decreased noticeably. More significantly, Yuki developed an awareness of when tension was building. During her workday, she'd catch herself hunching forward or clenching her jaw, and she could consciously release it before it became painful. The 10-minute morning practice was training her body to recognize and respond to stress signals throughout the entire day. By week 3, Yuki noticed her mind felt different. The constant mental fog that had made even simple decisions feel overwhelming was lifting. She could focus on tasks for longer periods without her attention fragmenting. Conversations with colleagues were easier because she could actually listen, instead of having her mind race ahead to the next thing. It was as if someone had cleaned a dirty window. The world looked clearer, sharper, more vivid. Her energy levels, which had been flat and depleted for so long, began to show variation again, actual peaks and valleys instead of just constant exhaustion. She had energy in the mornings that lasted past her first cup of coffee. The afternoon crash that usually hit around 3 p.m. was less severe. She found herself wanting to take walks after dinner instead of collapsing on the couch. Her body was remembering what vitality felt like. What fascinated Yuki most was how the practice itself had evolved. Those 10 minutes that initially felt like torture now felt essential, even sacred. Her body actually craved this daily check-in. The breathing that once seemed awkward now felt natural and grounding. The body scan revealed sensations she'd never noticed before, not just tension, but also warmth, tingling, aliveness. The gentle movements felt intuitive, as if her body was guiding her to exactly what it needed each day. She began to understand what Master Kenji meant about removing obstacles. She wasn't adding anything to her life except 10 minutes of presence. She wasn't taking new supplements or following complicated protocols. She was simply creating space for her body to do what it naturally knew how to do. And in that space, healing was happening organically, automatically, intelligently. Yuki's curiosity deepened. She wanted to understand why something so simple was producing real results. She started paying attention to other areas of her life. She noticed that her digestion had normalized, no more constant bloating or discomfort. Her skin looked clearer and more vibrant. Even her mood had stabilized. She wasn't experiencing the extreme highs and lows that had characterized her emotional state for years. Everything seemed to be improving simultaneously, as if the practice was addressing something fundamental that affected all systems of her body. One evening during week 3, Yuki sat down and made a list of changes she'd noticed. Better sleep, less pain, clearer thinking, more energy, improved digestion, stable mood, better stress management, more body awareness. Looking at the list, she felt tears well up. These weren't minor improvements, these were life-changing shifts. And all from 10 minutes a day of simply being present with her own body. She thought about all the money she'd spent on treatments, all the hours searching for solutions, all the frustration and hopelessness. The answer had been so simple, so accessible, so free. It was humbling and empowering at the same time. Yuki felt a deep desire to return to the mountain and thank Master Kenji, but more than that, she wanted to understand the mechanism. How was this actually working? What was happening in her body during those 10 minutes that created such profound ripple effects throughout her entire system? Scientific explanation interlude. To understand why Yuki's 10-minute practice produced such remarkable results, we need to look at what was actually happening in her body at a physiological level. Modern science has now validated what Zen masters have known for centuries: the body possesses extraordinary self-healing capabilities when given the right conditions. Let's start with the breath. When Yuki practiced conscious deep breathing, she was doing something powerful, activating her parasympathetic nervous system. Your nervous system has two modes. The sympathetic nervous system is your fight-or-flight response. It's designed for emergencies, releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, increasing heart rate, tensing muscles, and shutting down non-essential functions like digestion and cellular repair. The parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest mode. It lowers heart rate, relaxes muscles, improves digestion, and most importantly, activates healing and repair processes. Here's the problem. Most people in modern life spend nearly all their time in sympathetic mode. Constant stress, rushing, screens, deadlines, worries, all of these keep your body in emergency mode, even when there's no real danger. Your body can't heal effectively in this state because it's too busy preparing to run from the perceived threat. The conscious breathing practice essentially tells your body, it's safe now, you can switch to repair mode. Within just a few minutes of deep, diaphragmatic breathing, your parasympathetic system activates and healing processes begin. But there's more happening with the breath. Deep breathing dramatically improves cellular oxygenation. Your cells require oxygen to produce energy and perform their functions. When you breathe shallow yas, most people your cells receive less oxygen than they need. They become sluggish and inefficient. Deep breathing floods your system with oxygen, improving energy production at the cellular level. This is why Yuki noticed increased energy and mental clarity. Her brain and body were literally getting more fuel. The reduction in stress hormones is crucial for healing. Chronically elevated cortisol, which happens when you're constantly in fight or flight mode, suppresses your immune system, increases inflammation, disrupts sleep, impairs digestion, and interferes with tissue repair. By spending just 10 minutes daily in deep relaxation, Yuki was giving her cortisol levels a chance to drop. Over time, This recalibrates your entire stress response system, making you more resilient and less reactive. Now let's talk about the body scan and mindful awareness. When you bring conscious attention to different parts of your body without judgment, you're enhancing what scientists call the mind-body connection. Your brain and body communicate constantly through the nervous system, but much of this communication happens outside conscious awareness. By bringing attention to body sensations, you're essentially strengthening this communication pathway. Your brain gets better information about what's happening in your body, and your body becomes more responsive to signals from your brain. Research has shown that this kind of mindful body awareness reduces inflammation markers in the blood, lowers blood pressure, and improves immune function. It's not mystical, it's measurable. When you notice tension and simply observe it with kindness rather than fighting it, your nervous system can finally release it. Fighting tension creates more tension. Accepting and observing tension allows it to dissolve naturally. The gentle movements Yuki practiced stimulate multiple healing processes. Movement increases blood circulation, delivering nutrients and oxygen to tissues while removing waste products. It stimulates lymphatic drainage, your body's waste removal system. Unlike your cardiovascular system, which has the heart as a pump, your lymphatic system relies entirely on movement to function. Even gentle stretching helps clear toxins and reduce inflammation. Perhaps most fascinating is what happens at the cellular level during periods of deep relaxation. Scientists have discovered a process called autophagy, literally self-eating. This is your cell's way of cleaning house, breaking down and recycling damaged components and removing cellular debris. It's like a deep cleaning service for your cells. Autophagy is most active during periods of rest and fasting, and it's enhanced by the kind of deep relaxation Yuki practiced. This cellular housekeeping is essential for preventing disease and maintaining optimal function. All of these mechanisms work together synergistically. Better sleep allows more cellular repair. Reduced stress improves immune function. Improved oxygenation increases energy. Enhanced mind-body communication reduces pain. It's not that the 10-minute practice fixes one problem, it removes the obstacles blocking multiple healing systems, allowing them all to function optimally. The beauty of this approach is that you're not forcing your body to do anything unnatural. You're simply creating the conditions through breath, awareness, and gentle movement that allow your body's innate intelligence to take over. Your body already knows how to heal, you're just getting out of its way. Deeper Zen wisdom. After a month of consistent practice, Yuki made another journey to see Master Kenji. She wanted to share her results and thank him, but more than that, she sensed there was something deeper to understand. The master welcomed her with a knowing smile, as if he'd been expecting her return. As they sat together overlooking the valley, Yuki described her improvements: the better sleep, reduced pain, increased energy. Master Kenji listened with quiet appreciation, then said something that puzzled her. "Now you must learn to do even less." Yuki frowned. "But Master, I'm only doing 10 minutes a day. How can I do less?" The old man chuckled softly. "I don't mean less time. I mean less effort, less trying, less forcing." He introduced her to an ancient Zen concept called Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action or non-doing. Master Kenji explained it with a simple observation. Watch water flowing down a mountain. Does it struggle? Does it force its way? No. It follows the path of least resistance, yet it's powerful enough to shape stone over time. This is Wu Wei action without struggle, power without force. "You've been practicing for a month," the master continued, "and I can see you're still trying very hard during those 10 minutes. You're trying to breathe perfectly, trying to relax, trying to feel certain things, trying to achieve healing. This trying itself is an obstacle." Yuki recognized the truth in his words immediately. She had been approaching the practice like another task to complete correctly, another thing to succeed at. Master Kenji taught her a profound paradox. When you stop trying to control your body and instead trust it, you paradoxically gain the deepest form of control. Your body has an innate intelligence that far surpasses your conscious mind. Every second, without your awareness, your body is performing millions of complex operations, regulating temperature, fighting infections, repairing tissues, balancing chemistry. It knows what to do. Your job is simply to create space and get out of the way. He shared stories of other students who had come to him over the years. There was Hiro, a businessman who had suffered from chronic insomnia and anxiety. After months of trying every medical intervention, he learned the 10-minute practice. At first, Master Kenji recalled, Hiro treated it like a business meeting with his body structured, goal-oriented, measuring results. Only when he learned to simply be present, without agenda, did his healing deepen. Hiro's insomnia resolved, but more importantly, his entire approach to life transformed. He became calmer, more present with his family, more creative in his work. Then there was Ayumi, a young woman with severe digestive issues that doctors couldn't explain. She spent years fighting her body, angry at it for betraying her, the master said. Through this practice, she learned to listen instead of fight. Her body was trying to tell her something, that she was holding enormous emotional stress in her gut. As she became present with her body, she could finally process those emotions, and her digestion healed naturally. Master Kenji emphasized that the practice's effects rippled far beyond physical health. When you learn to be truly present with your body for 10 minutes each day, you're training a skill that transforms everything. You become more present in conversations, more aware in relationships, more effective in your work, more appreciative of simple moments. Students reported improvements they hadn't even been seeking: better relationships, increased creativity, greater life satisfaction, a sense of peace they'd never experienced before. This is because, the master explained, health is not separate from how you live. Your body and life are one continuous flow. When you heal the relationship with your body, you heal your relationship with life itself. He described how students became more intuitive about what their body needed, not just during the practice, but throughout the day. They naturally chose foods that nourished them. They recognized when they needed rest versus when they needed movement. They set healthier boundaries in relationships because they could feel the physical impact of saying yes when they meant no. The deepest wisdom Master Kenji offered was this: most people approach healing as war. They fight their symptoms, battle their bodies, combat their conditions. But true healing is not war. It's reconciliation. It's coming home to yourself. These 10 minutes each day are not about fixing what's broken. They're about remembering what was never broken: your body's fundamental wholeness and wisdom. Yuki felt something shift in her understanding. She had been measuring her progress, tracking improvements, still approaching healing as a goal to achieve. Master Kenji was inviting her to something deeper: trust. Trust that her body knew what it was doing. Trust that by simply showing up with presence and without force, healing would unfold naturally, in its own time, in its own way. Share this video with anyone in your life who's struggling with health issues and looking for something natural that actually works. Sometimes the simplest wisdom is what people need most. Obstacles, how to overcome them. As Yuki's transformation became more visible, friends and family began asking her what she was doing differently. She shared the practice with several people, but within weeks most had stopped. This troubled her, so she returned to Master Kenji one final time to ask, why do so many people quit something that works so well? What stops them? The master nodded, unsurprised. I have heard every excuse imaginable over the years. Let me share the most common obstacles and how to overcome them, so you can help others as you've been helped. The first and most frequent excuse: I don't have 10 minutes. Master Kenji smiled at this one. Everyone has 10 minutes. They spend 30 minutes scrolling through their phones, an hour watching television, countless minutes worrying about things they cannot change. The truth is not that they don't have time, it's that they haven't made it a priority. He taught Yuki to respond with compassion but honesty. You don't find time for what matters, you make time. If your health is not worth 10 minutes, what is it worth? The master suggested practical solutions. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Practice before your shower. Do it during your lunch break. Practice before bed. The time of day matters less than the consistency. He also reminded students that 10 minutes of presence could actually save hours of distraction and inefficiency throughout the day. A calm, focused mind works far more effectively than an anxious, scattered one. Those 10 minutes are an investment, not an expense. The second common obstacle: nothing is happening. I've been doing this for 3 days and I don't feel different. Master Kenji sighed at this one. Modern life has conditioned people to expect instant results. They want healing delivered like fast food, quick and convenient. But your health problems didn't develop in 3 days. They accumulated over months or years of habits. Healing requires patience. He offered this perspective. Some changes are obvious and immediate, like feeling calmer after your practice, but the deepest healing happens beneath your awareness: cellular repair, nervous system recalibration, hormonal rebalancing. These take time to manifest as noticeable changes. Trust the process even when you can't see results yet. A seed planted in soil looks like nothing is happening, but underground roots are growing. Master Kenji advised students to keep a simple journal, noting just 1 or 2 things each day: sleep quality, energy level, pain intensity, mood. Over weeks, patterns emerge that you might miss day by day. Progress is often invisible until you look back and realize how far you've come. The third major obstacle: I can't quiet my mind. My thoughts won't stop. I'm terrible at this. This one made Master Kenji laugh gently. Everyone says this. They think meditation means having no thoughts, like turning off a switch in their brain. This is a misunderstanding that stops many people. He explained that the practice is not about stopping thoughts. That's impossible, and not even the goal. Thoughts are like weather, the master said. Sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy. You don't stop the weather, you observe it passing through. During your 10 minutes, thoughts will come. This is normal. This is human. You haven't failed when thoughts arise. You simply notice them. There's a thought about work, and gently return your attention to your breath or body. This returning is the practice. You might return 100 times in 10 minutes. That's 100 repetitions of training your attention. That's excellent practice, not failure. For people who felt they absolutely couldn't sit still or focus, Master Kenji suggested starting even smaller. Practice just 2 minutes if 10 feels impossible, or practice while walking slowly. The key is establishing the habit of presence, even briefly. As your nervous system calms over time, longer practice becomes natural, even enjoyable. Another obstacle he mentioned: people who started the practice, felt better, then stopped because they thought they were fixed. Healing is not a destination you arrive at and then abandon the path that brought you there. This practice is not medicine you take until symptoms disappear. It's a way of living, a daily return to yourself, a daily clearing of obstacles. When you stop, obstacles accumulate again. Master Kenji's final advice for sustainability was simple. Attach the practice to something you already do every day. Before your morning coffee, after brushing your teeth, before bed. Link it to an existing habit so it becomes automatic. And be gentle with yourself. If you miss a day, simply begin again the next day. No guilt, no judgment, just return. As you return your attention to the breath, gently, patiently, with kindness. He looked at Yuki warmly. The practice itself teaches you how to overcome obstacles through patience, consistency, and self-compassion. These same qualities transform not just your health, but your entire life. The 1-month milestone. 30 days after beginning the practice, Yuki sat quietly in her living room and took inventory of her transformation. The changes were so profound that she hardly recognized herself compared to the exhausted, pain-ridden person she'd been just 1 month earlier. Physically, the differences were remarkable. Her chronic neck and shoulder pain had reduced by about 70%. The morning stiffness that used to require 30 minutes and multiple stretches to work through now resolved within minutes. Her energy levels had stabilized at a place she hadn't experienced in years. She woke up refreshed, maintained focus throughout the day, and still had vitality in the evenings. Her digestion, which had been unpredictable and uncomfortable, now functioned smoothly and regularly. Even her posture had changed. She naturally stood straighter, breathed deeper, moved with more ease. But the emotional and mental shifts were perhaps even more significant than the physical ones. The constant anxiety that had hummed beneath every moment of her day had quieted to a manageable whisper. She no longer felt at war with her body, no longer experienced it as something betraying her or breaking down. Instead, she felt a growing sense of partnership, even friendship, with her physical self. Her body was no longer the enemy, it was her wisest teacher. Her perspective on health had completely transformed. She used to think of health as the absence of symptoms, something you achieved through interventions and treatments. Now she understood health as a dynamic process, something you cultivate through daily attention and presence. She realized that all those years of chasing fixes and solutions She'd been looking in the wrong direction, outward instead of inward. The answer wasn't in some supplement or treatment plan. It was in learning to listen. This realization brought waves of gratitude. Gratitude for Master Kenji's patient teaching. Gratitude for her body's incredible resilience and willingness to heal despite years of neglect and stress. Gratitude for the simplicity of the practice, which made it accessible and sustainable. She felt grateful even for the suffering that had brought her to this point, because without it, she might never have discovered this path. Sitting there on day 30, Yuki made a quiet commitment to herself. This wasn't a temporary fix or a month-long experiment. This was how she would live now 10 minutes every single day for the rest of her life. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Those 10 minutes had become the most important part of her day, the foundation upon which everything else was built. They were her daily return to herself, her reconnection with the wisdom already living in her body. She understood now what Master Kenji meant when he said healing is not a destination. It's an ongoing practice of presence, attention, and trust. Some days would be easier than others. Some days she'd feel amazing, other days less so. But regardless of how she felt, she would show up for those 10 minutes. She would breathe consciously, scan her body with kindness, move with gentle awareness, and rest in presence. This was no longer something she did to get healthy. This was simply how she lived. The Master's final wisdom. 6 months after her initial visit, Yuki returned to Master Kenji's mountain dwelling one last time. She had continued the practice every single day, and the transformations had deepened and stabilized. But she came with a question that had been growing in her heart. Master, several people have asked me to teach them what you taught me. I want to help them, but I'm not sure I'm ready. What wisdom can you share before I begin teaching others? Master Kenji invited her to sit, and his eyes held both seriousness and warmth. What I'm about to tell you is what every student needs to hear, and what every teacher must remember. The practice is simple, but it is not easy. He paused, letting the words settle. People hear 10 minutes of breathing and body awareness and think it sounds trivial. They underestimate it. Then they begin and they discover that being truly present, even for 10 minutes, is one of the hardest things a human can do. He explained that modern life trains people to be everywhere except the present, moment planning the future, replaying the past, escaping into distractions. To simply be here now with your body, your breath, your actual experience, this requires courage and discipline. The practice is simple in instruction, but demands everything from you in execution. The Master's second teaching was about consistency over intensity. Many people approach healing like sprinting. They do too much, too intensely, then burn out and quit. They practice for an hour one day, then not at all for a week. This doesn't work. He used a beautiful metaphor. Imagine you're trying to wear a groove into stone. 1 hour of intense pressure makes little impression, but 1 drop of water, falling in the same spot every day, will eventually carve through solid rock. This is the power of consistency. Master Kenji emphasized that 10 minutes daily beats 1 hour weekly every time. It's not about how long or intense your practice is. It's about showing up, day after day, creating a rhythm your body can trust. Your nervous system learns through repetition. Your cells respond to consistency. Trust develops through reliability. He told Yuki that even on busy days, sick days, or unmotivated days, she should maintain the practice even if it meant just 5 minutes. Maintaining the habit is more important than perfect execution. This led to his teaching about the compound effect. People want dramatic results immediately. They don't understand that small daily actions compound exponentially over time. Master Kenji illustrated this with numbers. Imagine you improve just 1% each day. It seems insignificant, but after a year, you're not 1% better, you're 37 times better. This is how healing works. Each 10-minute practice makes a tiny difference, but those tiny differences accumulate into transformation. He warned Yuki about what he called the plateau periods, times when progress seems to stall. Students often quit during plateaus. They practiced for 2 months, felt great improvements, then improvements slowed. They think it's not working anymore. But this is when the deepest work is happening. Visible change alternates with invisible integration. Trust the plateaus. Keep practicing through them. Breakthroughs often come right after you want to quit. Master Kenji's next wisdom was about passing the teaching forward. You asked if you're ready to teach. Here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect to help others. You just need to be a few steps ahead on the path. Share what you've learned, what worked for you, and be honest about your own struggles. The best teachers are not those who have transcended all difficulties, but those who remember what it's like to struggle and can guide others through it with compassion. He emphasized that teaching is not about converting everyone. Some people aren't ready. They'll make excuses, resist, quit. This is okay. Plant seeds without attachment to whether they grow. Share the teaching with those who are truly seeking. You'll recognize them. They're the ones who are suffering enough to be open, but not so broken that they can't begin. Those are the ones you can help. Master Kenji shared one final profound teaching. The student becomes the teacher, not by mastering the practice, but by embodying it. When people see you calm in chaos, healthy in a sick world, present in an age of distraction, they won't ask what you know. They'll ask who you are and how you got there. Your life becomes the teaching. The way you move through the world, respond to stress, treat your body, show up each day, this is the real transmission. He looked at Yuki with deep appreciation. You came to me desperate and broken, seeking healing. I gave you a simple practice, but what really healed you was your willingness to trust, to be consistent, to be patient with yourself. These qualities, trust, consistency, patience, are what you'll teach others, not just the mechanics of breathing and body scanning. As Yuki prepared to leave, Master Kenji offered one last piece of wisdom. Remember this always. Healing is not something you achieve and then forget about. It's a relationship you cultivate daily. These 10 minutes are your sacred time to honor that relationship. Whether you're teaching others or just living your life, never abandon your own practice. A teacher who stops being a student has nothing left to teach. If you want to learn more practices like this that can genuinely transform your health and life, subscribe to our channel. We're here to share wisdom that works, not just theory. And comment below, let us know if you're going to try this 10-minute practice, or tell us where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. Real-world application guide. Now that you understand the power of this 10-minute practice, let's talk about exactly how to implement it in your real life. This isn't theoretical, this is your practical roadmap to beginning today. First, let's break down the practice into clear, actionable steps. Find a space where you won't be disturbed for 10 minutes. It doesn't need to be perfectly quiet or special, just a place where you can stand or sit comfortably. Turn off your phone or put it on silent. This is non-negotiable. These 10 minutes belong entirely to you and your body. Start by standing with feet shoulder-width apart, or sitting comfortably with your spine relatively straight but not rigid. Begin with 2 minutes of conscious breathing. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4, letting your belly expand first, then your chest. Pause gently for a count of 2. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6, feeling your belly draw inward. Don't force it, find a rhythm that feels natural. If counting distracts you, simply focus on making your exhale longer than your inhale. After 2 minutes of breathing, move into the body scan for about 3 minutes. Keep breathing gently as you bring your attention to the top of your head. Don't judge what you feel, just notice. Slowly move your awareness down forehead, eyes, jaw, neck, shoulders, arms, chest, belly, hips, legs, all the way to your toes. When you notice tension, don't try to force it away. Simply acknowledge it. I notice tension in my shoulders. This awareness alone often allows release. Next comes 3 minutes of gentle movement. Remember, this isn't exercise, it's awakening. Roll your shoulders backward slowly, 5 times. Gently turn your head side to side, feeling the stretch in your neck. Reach your arms overhead and stretch to each side. Do slow, gentle twists from your waist. Make circles with your ankles. Let your body guide you. If something feels tight, move into it gently. If something hurts, ease back. Synchronize each movement with your breath. Expand on the inhale, contract or twist on the exhale. Finally, spend the last 2 minutes in mindful awareness. You can sit or stand, with eyes closed or softly focused downward. Simply rest in the present moment. Notice your breath. Notice sensations in your body. When thoughts command, they absolutely will, don't fight them. Just observe them like clouds passing and gently return your attention to your breath or body. This returning is the practice. Do it 100 times if needed. Creating the right environment matters more than you might think. Choose a spot that feels calm to you. Some people practice near a window with natural light. Others prefer a corner of their bedroom. The key is consistency. Using the same space helps build the habit because your body begins to associate that location with the practice. Keep the area clean and uncluttered. You might light a candle or open a window for fresh air, but avoid making it complicated. Simple is best. Timing is crucial for sustainability. Most people find morning practice most effective. It sets the tone for the entire day and is easier to maintain because the day's demands haven't taken over yet. Practice before your shower, before breakfast, or right after waking. However, if mornings are impossible, evening works too. Some people practice before bed and find it improves sleep quality. The worst time is usually mid-afternoon when energy dips and interruptions are most likely. Experiment for a week to find what works, then stick with it. Same time, same place every day. Tracking progress is helpful, but don't become obsessed with it. Keep a simple one-line journal, date, and maybe rate your sleep, energy and pain on a scale of 1 to 10. That's it. Review it weekly, not daily. You're looking for trends over weeks, not day-to-day fluctuations. Some people take a photo on day 1 and day 30 not for social media, but as a private record. You'd be surprised how much your face, posture, and energy change when you're truly healing. Building the habit effectively requires understanding how habits form. Research shows it takes about 66 days for a behavior to become automatic. Use what experts call habit stacking. Attach your new practice to something you already do daily. After I brush my teeth, I practice for 10 minutes. Before I make coffee, I practice for 10 minutes. This linking creates a mental trigger. Also, prepare the night before. Lay out comfortable clothes. Clear your practice space. Remove obstacles to starting. Here's what to realistically expect week by week. Week 1. It will feel awkward and difficult. Your mind will rebel. Your body might feel stiff. This is normal. You're breaking old patterns. Push through. Week 2. Moments of calm start appearing during the practice. You might notice slightly better sleep or small reductions in tension. Week 3. The practice starts feeling less forced. You're beginning to look forward to it. Physical improvements become more noticeable. Week 4. This is often breakthrough time. Multiple systems improve simultaneously. You feel significantly different than day 1. Weeks 5 through 8. Deeper integration happens. The awareness you cultivate during practice extends into your daily life. You catch stress earlier, respond to your body's signals better, feel more grounded overall. After 2 months, if you've been consistent, the practice feels essential rather than optional. You miss it when you skip it. Your body craves this daily check-in. One crucial point: don't make it complicated. The simplicity is the power. Don't add extra techniques. Don't extend it to 30 minutes thinking more is better. Don't keep changing the routine. Trust the basic practice. Master the fundamentals before adding anything else. Simplicity sustained over time beats complexity attempted briefly. Common questions answered. As word spreads about this practice, certain questions come up repeatedly. Let's address them clearly so you can practice with confidence and share accurate information with others. Can I do more than 10 minutes? Yes, but be careful about your motivation. If you're doing more because you genuinely enjoy the practice and have time, that's fine. But if you're doing more because you think it will speed up healing, or because 10 minutes isn't enough, you're missing the point. More isn't better. Consistency is better. 10 minutes done daily for a year transforms your life. 30 minutes done sporadically accomplishes little. Master Kenji was clear. The magic isn't in duration, it's in regularity. That said, once the practice is deeply established as a habit, say, after 3 months of consistent daily practice, extending to 15 or 20 minutes can deepen the benefits. But start with 10 and stay with 10 until it feels completely natural. What if I miss a day? Life happens. You'll get sick, travel, face emergencies, or simply forget. This is normal and human. The key is how you respond. Don't spiral into guilt or self-criticism. Don't tell yourself you've failed and give up entirely. Simply begin again the next day. One missed day doesn't erase weeks of practice. Your body doesn't forget everything you've learned. However, Be honest with yourself about the difference between occasionally missing a day due to genuine circumstances and regularly skipping days due to lack of commitment. If you find yourself missing 2 or 3 days per week, you haven't actually established the habit yet. Recommit. Maybe set an alarm. Maybe practice at a different time. Find what works and protect those 10 minutes. Can children do this practice? Absolutely. And often they respond even better than adults because they haven't accumulated as many years of disconnection from their bodies. However, modify it for their age and attention span. Young children, ages 5 to 10, might do better with 5 minutes instead of 10, and the language needs to be simpler and more playful. Let's breathe like we're blowing up a big balloon in our belly. Let's notice how our body feels. Is your tummy tight or soft? Are your shoulders up by your ears or down and relaxed? Teenagers can do the full practice, but often resist anything that seems meditation-like. Frame it as athletic recovery, stress management for school, or a tool for better sleep, whatever resonates with them. Teaching children this practice is one of the greatest gifts you can give them. They're learning to be present with their bodies before accumulating decades of tension and disconnection. Is this religious or spiritual? This is important to clarify. The practice comes from Zen tradition, which has spiritual roots. However, the practice itself is not religious. You don't need to believe in anything. You don't need to adopt any spiritual views. You're simply working with your breath, body awareness, and gentle movement, completely secular activities. The benefits come from physiology, not faith. Your nervous system doesn't care whether you're Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, atheist, or anything else. It responds to the practice regardless. That said, some people do find the practice deepens their existing spiritual life, whatever that looks like for them. Others experience it as purely physical and mental health maintenance. Both approaches are valid. What about scientific backing? We covered some of this earlier, but let's be clear. Thousands of peer-reviewed studies support the components of this practice. Research on diaphragmatic breathing shows measurable improvements in stress hormones, blood pressure, and heart rate variability. Studies on body scan meditation demonstrate reduced inflammation markers and improved immune function. Research on gentle movement confirms benefits for circulation, lymphatic drainage, and pain reduction. The parasympathetic nervous system activation we discussed is established neuroscience. You can find this research in respected journals. It's not pseudoscience or wishful thinking. However, no specific study has tested this exact 10-minute combination. What we know is that each component is scientifically validated, and combining them logically enhances their individual effects. Can I combine this with medical treatment? Not only can you should. This practice is not a replacement for necessary medical care. If you have a serious health condition, continue working with your doctors. Take prescribed medications. Follow medical advice. This practice is complementary, meaning it works alongside medical treatment, often enhancing its effectiveness. Many doctors now recommend mindfulness and breathing practices to their patients because the evidence is so strong. Some things the practice can help with: managing side effects of medication, reducing stress that interferes with healing, improving sleep quality which supports recovery, and enhancing your body's overall resilience. What it cannot do: cure serious diseases on its own, replace necessary surgery or medication, or substitute for professional medical diagnosis. Be smart. Use this practice as part of a comprehensive approach to your health, not as your only approach. The beauty of this practice is its simplicity and safety. Unlike many interventions, it has no negative side effects when done as instructed. The worst that can happen is nothing happens, and even that's unlikely if you practice consistently with presence and patience. So here we are, at the end of Yuki's story and the beginning of yours. You've learned about the practice, understood the science, heard the wisdom, and seen the transformation that's possible. Now comes the most important moment, the decision to actually begin. I want to challenge you right now, today, to commit to 30 days. Not someday when life gets less busy. Not next Monday when you'll be more motivated. Today, right after you finish watching this video, give yourself 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes to start the journey that could change everything. And here's the beautiful part: you don't need anything to begin. You don't need to buy equipment, sign up for a program, or wait for the perfect circumstances. You already have everything required: a body, breath, and 10 minutes. That's it. You can start in your living room, your bedroom, even your office if you have privacy. No excuses, no barriers, just you and your willingness to try. If you want, practice along with this video right now. Pause here, stand up, and follow the steps we've outlined. 2 minutes of conscious breathing, 3 minutes of body scanning, 3 minutes of gentle movement, 2 minutes of mindful awareness. Start your healing journey this very moment. We'll wait. Your future self will thank you for beginning today instead of waiting. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Thousands of people around the world are discovering the power of this simple practice. Some of them are watching this video right now, just like you. Some are already practicing and experiencing transformations. You're joining a community of people who believe in the body's natural healing abilities and are willing to invest 10 minutes daily to unlock them. I believe in you. I believe you can do this. Not because you're special or different, but because you're human, and every human body has this incredible capacity for self-repair when given the right conditions. Yuki was just an ordinary person with ordinary problems. The only thing that made her transformation possible was her decision to start and her commitment to continue. You have that same power within you right now. Think about where you could be 30 days from now. Better sleep, less pain, more energy, clearer mind, calmer emotions, deeper connection with yourself. This isn't fantasy, this is what happens when you consistently remove the obstacles blocking your body's natural healing. 10 minutes a day. That's all it takes. That's the investment required for a completely different life. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways. Your body already knows how to heal itself, you just need to remove the obstacles. 10 minutes daily of conscious breathing, body scanning, gentle movement, and mindful awareness creates the conditions for natural healing. Consistency matters more than intensity. Simple doesn't mean ineffective. Trust the process, be patient with yourself, and show up every single day. This 10-minute commitment is not a burden, it's a gift you give yourself. It's your daily return to yourself, your reconnection with the wisdom living in your body. Protect these 10 minutes like you'd protect anything precious, because they are. They're the foundation of your health, peace, and vitality. If this video has given you value, please hit that like button. It helps us reach more people who need this message. Subscribe to Wisdom in Real Life so you never miss content that can genuinely transform your health and happiness. And please, share this video with anyone you know who's struggling with health issues, stress, pain, or exhaustion. Sometimes the simplest wisdom is exactly what someone needs to hear. Drop a comment below and let us know, are you going to take the 30-day challenge? Where are you watching from? What health issue are you hoping to improve? We read every comment and we're cheering you on. Your story matters. Your healing matters. We have more videos exploring ancient wisdom for modern health, practical practices you can use immediately, and stories that inspire real transformation. Check out our channel for more content that bridges timeless wisdom with today's challenges. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being open to a different approach. Thank you for trusting that something simple could be powerful. Your willingness to try is the first step toward healing. Now go practice. Your body is waiting to show you what it can do. 10 minutes. Starting today. You've got this.